Now turn the mics up. Turn that mic up. Yeah, the beat is knocking. Leave that mic up though. Turn that shit the fuck up. What? Turn it louder. Yeah.
At the same time, which is the case for Black Americans. Most people like you based on the fact that they can disrespect you and walk all over you whenever they want. So you're going to have to make a choice on being liked versus being respected. And the reason I bring that up is this. The most common objective towards the ADOS movement is that the ADOS movement and the push for reparations at its core is an anti-immigrant movement. It's divisive. It's driving a wedge in between Black Americans and all other immigrants, whether we're talking about Black immigrants or Hispanics. That is the main objective that you consistently hear towards the ADOS movement, and that's a lie. That's a lie from the pit of hell. But the thing is this, not only is that lie pushed deliberately by mainstream media, but you see it continuously carried on by Black immigrants and Hispanics alike. And the reason it's carried on is because for so long, Black Americans have allowed themselves to be disrespected by both parties. And what I mean by that is this, and you know, I almost forgot. Before I carry on, and I think this is very important for me to say, moving forward so that you understand who I am, I'm not ADOS. I'm not an American descendant of slaves. My parents are from Haiti. I'm Haitian. I was born and raised in the U.S., but in the event that reparations actually take place and they come about, I don't get anything out of it. So you might be asking yourself, well then, why are you doing this? Because I'm of the mindset and the understanding that what's good for one Black man is good for the next Black man, and that's good for me. Whatever happens within this country that benefits Black Americans benefits me as well by default because I'm Black. You don't know who and what I am until I tell you. But the reason that I have the mindset that I have of that I'm just simply Black, and my experience in this country is that of being Black, a Black American, so therefore what's good for Black Americans is good for me, even if I don't get anything out of it. The reason that I have the mind state that I do is because I simply identify myself as just being Black. Now, am I Haitian and am I proud of that? Yes, I love that. But I identify myself with being a Black man in America. The problem is, when it comes to Black immigrants, is that most Black immigrants do not identify themselves with being Black Americans. They don't identify themselves with Black Americans at all, whether you're talking about those who just arrived here from whatever country they came from, or the children that they produce like myself who are born here yet do not identify with Black Americans. They identify with their place of origin, which is Haiti, Jamaica, Nigeria, or whatever the case may be. Now the thing is that when it comes to these Black immigrants, and I'm specifically speaking on those Black immigrants that are anti-ADOS and the children of immigrants that are anti-ADOS. The issue with them is that they want to be Black when it's convenient. You see, when it's time to get grants and fill out scholarship forms, now you're Black. Now, when it comes to legislation and things of that nature that comes down from, you know, the higher ups in politics, there is nothing that's exclusively for Black people. But when it comes to grants and scholarships and little things like that, there are here and there, you can find grants and scholarships that are exclusively for African Americans and nobody else. There's not many, but they do exist. And you see, Black immigrants are able to take advantage of that. So you want to be Black when it's convenient for you to be Black. But once you get the benefits that are supposed to be for American descendants of slaves, African Americans, when you get these benefits that those brothers and sisters fought for, they died for, they bled for, they struggled for, you get to come in, get those benefits, and once you get those benefits and level up, you then turn around and have the same negative sentiments towards Black Americans as your typical average white racist does. That's the issue. And that's why you'll see Black Americans now have made up their minds to come up with the term ADOS, American Descendant of Slaves, to box everybody else out. Because it has to stop, and it stops now, where you have those Black immigrants that do not identify with being Black at all whatsoever. They have the same disdain and negative thoughts and opinions on American Blacks as a racist does. They want nothing to do with you and don't identify with you at all whatsoever. Yet they're able to come in and ride on the coattails of what we fought for. No, that's over. That stops now, and it stops here. And that's what Black immigrants have an issue with. Black immigrants want to continue to be able to benefit off of the American Black struggle while slapping the American Black in the face at the same time. And because American Descendant of Slaves have created this box in which we said, nope, going forward, when we're dealing with our issues, it's for us only. If you're not an American Descendant of Slave, if you're not a foundational Black American, no, you can't get any of this. Now, Black immigrants have a problem.
This is the Twilight Zone.
I know your secret.
Problem. And you'll see the same sentiment come from a lot of Hispanics as well. All too often, because most Black people, a good deal of us, too many of us, are afraid to be Black. So when we speak on issues that revolve around us, because we don't want to offend anybody and be too Black, as opposed to just speak on our issues alone and solely, we muddy the waters and say Black and brown, Black and brown, Black and brown. That way, whatever benefits, legislations, scholarships, or grants that come about, it's all inclusive for everybody, Black and brown. Minorities at large. What Hispanics have come accustomed to is that they're accustomed to being able to piggyback off of whatever the Black struggle is. So whatever will level us up, it's automatically supposed to level them up. But that's our fault. We've done that. Because for so long, Black Americans have been too afraid to just simply be Black. And you always muddy the conversation talking about Black and brown. But when it comes to Hispanics speaking on their issues, you don't see that happen. They don't say brown and Black. They just touch on what they want to touch on what's specific to them. But when you being Black open your mouth, you're talking about Black and brown. And now because, just like the Black immigrant, you have the Hispanics as well that are accustomed to riding on the coattails of Blacks when it comes to getting benefits that should be specifically for Black Americans. They become accustomed to that. Now that you have the audacity to box everybody out and say, no, this is for us, it's F you now. It's, oh, you don't like immigrants, huh? This is divisive now. And it's at this point that, like I stated earlier, Black Americans are going to have to make that strong decision on being liked versus being respected. For so long, you thought you were liked by a lot of people, but come to find out they didn't respect you. Once you started off on your ADOS Foundational Black Americans movement for reparations, all of a sudden, everybody has a problem now. All of a sudden, I mean, isn't it funny? I'm just thinking about this. The main objectors of this are liberals and Democrats, the people that were supposed to be on your side. Ever thought about that? Minority coalition, Black immigrants, Hispanics, everybody that's supposed to be on your side, they're the ones that have the issue and are now putting out the narrative that this is an anti-immigrant movement. Do you want to be liked or do you want to be respected?
Now turn the mics up. Turn that mic up. Yeah, the beat is knocking. Leave that mic up though. Turn that shit the fuck up. What? Turn it up louder. Yeah.